Okay, so what's up? We're back. We're outside again. It's a really nice day outside. It's windy. There's clouds. When I got here, I think there's a veterans memorial thing going on because there's a whole bunch of flags. I'll put like a clip of it right here. Um, but yeah, when I got here, it was pretty cool. I mean, it's sad. It looks cool, but it's pretty fucking sad if you think about it. You know. Oh, there's a butterfly. Butterfly, come here. I don't know if you saw it. I hope you saw it on camera. But anyways, yeah, we're back. Wanted to talk about some music again. I wanted to talk about a song in specific that I released. I never really talked much about it. I just kind of released it. And yeah, there's multiple versions of this song out. There's like a normal speed one, and there's the slowed down version, which I personally like a little bit more. So this song I made a couple months ago. I made it within a day. Honestly, it took me like one day to make the beat, and then like the following morning, I just recorded the vocals. Sorry, my eyes itchy. I just like scratched it. But so yeah, the song is called Trippin', and basically, I guess I could run through like the process or what gear I use. This is where I keep most of my. Hold on, there's a plane going by. I don't even know if the mic could hear it. There's a plane going by. See, we're working against the weather and shit like that. But this place is nice, except it's by an airport. It's by Phoenix Airport, so you always get airplanes flying over us and stuff like that. It's a cool vibe here though. It's always nice. It's called Tempe Town Lake. This lake is actually man-made. It's not here naturally. We're in a desert. But yeah, they pretty much dug a big hole, filled it with water, and now made it look pretty. And yeah, there's like a whole bunch of college campuses over here. But anyways, yeah. So this pink pack is where I keep most of my gear. Like I said, this is the microphone I use for recording stuff. The headphones I use are the JBL Tune 230s. They're better than AirPods. I have the AirPod case here. So I had AirPod Pros. They were all right. They lacked in audio quality. Like the drivers just weren't that good, and the noise canceling barely canceled anything. And fucked. And then eventually someone stole my pair of AirPods, but it's whatever. And I use these two JBL Flip 5s from Harman. JBL is just a good brand. It's a good brand. It's not too expensive. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's what I use to make music. First, I released it to SoundCloud, and it was like the full speed version of it. And honestly, when I listened back to that song, I was like, damn, like this song is so fast. Like it's like less than 2 minutes long. I think it's like 1:40. But when I first made it, hey, Mr. Fly, there's a fly on my finger. Get away from me. Usually that's a sign that people are spying on me, but what's new? Basically, when I made the beat, it took me about a day to make it, and then the following, like less than a day, like it took me like a couple hours to make it, and then the following day I just recorded the vocals on it. So it took me less than a day to make the whole song, and then later I went back and I put it into another software and just kind of slowed it down, exported that, and then put some reverb on the slowed down version of it, and it came out really good. Honestly, it's probably my favorite song that I've made, and it was just like a stream of consciousness that when I made it, it's a pretty fun song. It's one of my favorites. Just wind. Oh, hi bird. There's a bird running around behind me. Behind the camera, you can't see it. You know, eventually I'll get used to talking to a camera by myself. I'm not very used to just being alone and kind of talking to a camera, but I guess it's something you get used to. I have like experience performing. I used to be in dance. Back in high school, we used to perform at the assemblies and shit like that. I always veer off. Like I always, like my ADHD brain always is like, oh shit, a squirrel, and I get distracted. But These flies are attacking me. Do you see that? Stop. I don't know where it went. But basically, I guess we could talk about like what's going on in the world. Seeing those flags kind of reminded me. It's like there's there's a lot of people who have made sacrifices to build. I mean, I guess to build the country. To get to where we are. We take a lot of things for granted. Like even some people can't even walk outside. Hold on, I'm gonna change the lighting. That looks better. Like some people can't even go ride a bike outside. Like at least in other countries. Like I was watching a documentary, the other day, and it was like about Bad Bunny and like how he came up from Puerto Rico, and there's a lot of shit that's going on in Puerto Rico that like I had no idea about. Like for instance, there was a lot of farmers over in Puerto Rico that were growing sugarcane and tobacco. And they were just like landowners, but the US came in and they're like, "Yo, let's make a deal. Let's farm this and that or whatever." And eventually they made the owners get into debt to plant those crops, and then the Americans came and they took their land because they defaulted on the loans that they took out, these landowners. And slowly but surely, like this like
basically placed
I guess you could call it a country. It turned into
and bought a bunch of properties for cheap.
to just a place where people go to deduct taxes. A whole bunch of like Jake Paul or Logan, whatever the fuck brother it is, Logan or Jake. One of them moved over there for the sole reason of just keeping more money for themselves and because of taxes and shit like that. But
it's one vertical.
It's crazy. The craziest part about that documentary that I saw, I guess I could link it on somewhere in the description or just put it on the screen. But basically this country's governors and their political powers and people like that, they had like a telegram, and they were talking about their citizens like they were just trash and like they were just livestock and shit like that. And it sparked a whole revolt of getting the governor to resign. And the motherfucker said, "Nah, I'm just not rerun next year," or whatever the fuck he was gonna say. But no, they brought this shit to his house, and they got riot police and stuff that came and tear gassed all the people, and it was kind of fucked. I mean, I don't know. I mean, should I be talking about? It doesn't fucking. It's completely off topic, but I guess it's something for me to talk about, right? And I'm rambling. So basically, I'm at work, and I put on his music, and I just kind of listened to his music. Didn't think much of it. I mean, I was like, all right, yeah, it's okay. Wasn't exactly my cup of tea because I just don't really listen to much Latin music. I'm Mexican myself, but my sister's really into it, so she's always playing him. And but yeah, this offered me a lot of insight into how Bad Bunny is like he stepped up and was a voice for the people. He released some songs along with some other artist. I forgot his name, but he's a big advocate for these things, and he like honestly I like his attitude of not giving a fuck, and that's something I guess I admire from him. He even like cross dresses and like went full drag for like a music video, which is, I mean, more power to him, right? But yeah, it makes you think how a lot of media just kind of doesn't show what's actually happening like in other places. Like, knowledge is power, right? I feel like The Bug's Life, that movie, really resonates in today's society. It's like, if I remember correctly, A Bug's Life is just about a whole bunch of colony of ants, and there's like these like grasshoppers that stormed into their little ant place, and they were like, "Yo, where's the food? Give me the portion of the food," and then they just left them with like little scraps. And it resonates a lot now because I don't remember how the movie ends, but I think eventually like they unite and they revolt against the the grasshoppers, I guess. Fun fact: I used to be called Grillo in Spanish. Like that used to be my nickname. A lot of people used to. I mean, not a lot of people, just everybody who knew me as a kid growing up. Like at least the Mexicans. Excuse my tan line. Sorry, off topic, but they used to call me Grillo, and this is. I mean, I guess I could tell the story. So way back in the day, back in Mexico, I guess my mom would take me to the store or take me with my grandmother, and we would always see, or there would be this like person who runs this like little shop, and he would always be playing music at his storefront. Like I guess he just had a speaker or something, and I would as a little like 2-year-old, I would go over there and start singing and start dancing in front of the speaker or whatever the fuck. And then so since then, I guess that's where the nickname came from, which is funny now because I'm still grown as fuck and I'm still doing those things. I'm still fucking dancing around. And yeah, but yeah, I used to I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I used to dance back in high school. We would perform in front of assemblies and shit like that every year, or every end of the semester we would throw a little dance show, and it was a lot of fun. I miss it. It's where I met Michael. That's where we became friends, because we would just be doing our own thing in the corner of the room while the girls were meandering about doing their dances. And yeah, from there, like we really got into making music, because another guy that was in there, his name was Marcus. Shout out to Marcus. We would just be like making music on our own, and then we would go and like show each other our beats. Every week, our teacher her name was Miss Gamboa. She was this little old lady. She was adorable. She was Jewish, so she always said tushy, like sit your tushy over here or whatever. Anyways, so she she would have us do like an extracurricular every week that we'd have to turn in, and it could be anything from like doing a video of us dancing, learning another dance, doing some sort of art. And we would just submit it to her every week. And what me and the boys would do is we would just make beats and then send it to her. And this was like super easy for us. Like we would just turn in whatever, and she would just give us like a good grade for it, which was it was one of the most fun classes that I had back in high school. The weather's really nice. Like it is. What's the temperature? It's 90 degrees. It feels like it's like 85. Because of the wind, but it's also a little bit humid. On the way here it was raining, so but yeah, it's really nice. We got a lot of cloud cover. There's a building back there that looks like that one. Yeah, that building is it reminds me of like the place in Sydney, Australia. I don't know what it's called, but I think that's like an art museum or something like that. But anyways, I'm excited to see where I could take the things I do. Call it like a little fourth wall break, but I feel like one day people will look back on these and there'd be like, oh, he was doing this way back then, he was doing that way before then, and it's just I got a lot of visions or a lot of goals that I want to do, and it's not just with like music, not just with like the podcast. I guess it's good. The podcast does have a big thing. Like eventually, I feel like a lot of people could learn from like my own life experiences. I guess there's like a saying. It's like your struggles will one day become like someone else's survival guide, and I guess I like this is just like a public archive for me. I'm not expecting much from it. I'm just doing it for the sake of being accessible, because like the name of the podcast in itself is called the Enigma podcast. It's just someone who's mysterious. The enigma in mathematics is like you put a number here, and then you get an outcome, or like an Enigma machine would be used for like cryptography and shit like that. But in this instance, I guess it's being used for just like a weird person. I'm just a weird dude. I think I'm interesting. People call me interesting. A lot of people, they just like my 2 cents, I guess you could say. And I guess it's just a way for me to put it out there. Um, I don't I don't want to be self-absorbed or anything. Like, mind you, I'm over here being judged, like, by the people that walk by. And but it's just something that I want to get used to. So excuse these episodes if I'm just all over the place, because I'm not used to talking to a camera, I guess you could say. Like I said earlier, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I just really be saying things, and then hoping that in the end of it, I keep it in the video. But anyways, cheers. I brought water this time. It's cold. It's nice. But yeah, that thing that happened in Puerto Rico, or wherever the fuck Bad Bunny's from. At this point, I don't even excuse my ignorance, but the unity is something that really is inspiring in that video. I highly suggest. It's like an hour long, but I think it's well worth a watch. It's a very entertaining video, and it just highlights how when the people came together, they were doing it peacefully as well. Like, they were chanting songs and stuff like that. Puerto Rico is like a very culturally artistic country, and it really showed in the way that they protested. For instance, they had, like, when Bad Bunny made that song for him, and they were screaming out these chants. Everybody was so involved. There was no political parties. Like, nobody gave a fuck about your, like, who's what, this or that. Like, it was just a good example of people coming together peacefully to protest. And these streets were packed. Like, it's a small island, but, like, still, it's crazy. It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. I don't even know what to say anymore. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We got a homie that joined us over here. but yeah, I'm just walk around. Maybe we'll find some more shit. Maybe I'll get a skateboard soon. I want to get one, but I want to get a cool deck. I want to make sure it's like a cool board that I actually, like, enjoy. I want to make it nice. I want to get nice trucks and nice wheels for it too. Oh snap! There's people yelling. But I guess it's time for me to go. So.